Hey, my name is Staff Sergeant Carter, and I'm the training manager over the 366 Maintenance Squadron at Mountain Home Air Force Base, and I'm going to give you your CDC brief today. We're going to be going over the expectations of you, the trainee, and your responsibilities, and then we will also be talking about what your supervisor's responsibilities are in the CDC program. So at this point, your unit training manager has already enrolled you in your CDCs on MIL-PDS, and they've also verified your enrollment in CDCs, just making sure you're in the right edit code. And you should have that information. If you're not sure, get with your unit training manager to make sure you are actually accomplishing the right edit code of your CDCs. So what are CDCs, you might ask? Well, it is the career development course, which is a knowledge-based training that you have to go through because your career field manager has identified that CDCs are beneficial for your career field. It should go hand in hand with your on-the-job training, your hands-on training. So if you have a question about a piece of equipment in your CDC, then you should be able to actually go to the equipment and see the equipment in real life. However, sometimes that's not the case. For example, for weapons CDCs, they might have multiple bombs or different equipment from different airframes that they're not actually going to work on at a specific base. But in general, they try to have the CDCs align with what material you are actually, or equipment you are actually working on. So within 10 days of the CDC briefing being complete, your supervisor should issue you your CDCs, and the supervisor can actually determine which sequence the CDC volumes can occur. However, the supervisor cannot issue more than one at a time. The trainee has 30 days to complete each volume, and if it's going to take more than 30 days, please let the training manager know so we can document it in your training records, just explaining what the reasoning is and how we're going to get the trainee back on track so that they can get their volume completed and eventually take their end of course test. So in each volume of the CDCs, there's going to be questions throughout. There's two different kinds of questions. There is the self-test questions, which are open-ended questions that you'll have to write in. I recommend writing in pencil because if you get the answer wrong, it's always easy to just go in and erase and then put the right answer. And just know that the answers are actually in the back of the CDCs for the self-test questions, so make sure you fill it out to the best of your knowledge. It is open book, so just know that. And then after you're done completing all those, go back, review them, make sure you get the right answers, and then if you did not get the right answer, go back and fill in the right answer. The second kind is a unit review exercise, or UREs as they're called, and those are multiple choice questions. And that is also open book. Usually there's around 100 UREs per volume, so at the end of each big section in the volume, it'll be 20 to 30 different UREs. So just make sure you fill those out to the best of your knowledge. It's open book, so look back, make sure you're getting the answers correct. And then when your volume is complete, your supervisor will grade all of your UREs. They will have a scoring sheet with all the correct answers, and they will score it. And any missed areas, review with the trainee so that they understand where they went wrong, what they missed, so they can eventually study the correct answers when they're studying for their EOC. Supervisors, if you do not have a scoring sheet, get with your section or flight chiefs, and if they do not have one, get with the training manager and we can get that for you. Also, supervisors, make sure you document in the 623 Alpha how the trainee did on the UREs every single volume, and then also put in there that they completed the volume and that you're issuing them the next volume. When the trainee has completed the last volume, it will then have 45 days to accomplish a comprehensive review with their supervisor. A comprehensive review is pretty much a review of all of the CDCs, all of the volumes that they will be tested on, and the comp review should include the supervisor looking to make sure all of their CDCs were complete, and then asking questions about the material, just asking more than just the URE questions. Make sure you're questioning them about the material that's not in the UREs as well, because on the test it won't just have URE questions, it will have questions anywhere throughout the CDC material. So it's important not to just ask them URE questions. A comp review is done with the supervisors. However, some shops may have you do a comp review with more than just your supervisor. It might be your supervisor, your section chiefs, flight chiefs, superintendents, OICs. Just depends how they work it, how they want it done. Once the comprehensive review is accomplished with the trainee, supervisors, please make sure there's a 623 Alpha journal entry annotated in the training records just saying that you are recommending them for their CDC test. After they are completed with the comp review, have them come see the training manager and we will get them scheduled with the education office getting that CDC test, and they will have 30 days from when they complete the comprehensive review to come and schedule their CDC test. The minimum passing score for a CDC exam is a 65%. Also, depending on your squadron, you might have an excellent CDC incentive program. For example, some squadrons may give you a day off if you get above a 90, and some places actually give you 3 days off if you get above a 95. So I would check with your supervisor to see if your squadron has a policy like that in place. With that being said, if you get a 64 or below on your CDC exam, that is an unsatisfactory score and is a fail. If you do receive an unsatisfactory score on your CDC exam, please notify the unit training manager and your supervision as soon as possible. From there, we have 30 days to perform an interview with you and your supervisor to determine the cause of failure. At that point, after the interviews with the unit training manager, we will all sit with the squadron commander to determine what the issue was and how we're going to move on from this. During the commander's interview with the trainee, the supervisor, and the unit training manager, the commander will evaluate the trainee's motivation, study habits, how they progress through the course, and the supervisor's involvement, just to see the whole picture of what's going on and the reason behind why they failed. The commander may also request that the trainee take an Air Force Reading Assessment Test, or an AFRAT. It should be noted that the supervisor should put a journal entry in to their 623 Alpha to explain all of this that has happened and explain how the trainee will move on from this and how they will pass their second test. A copy of this failure evaluation will be sent to the base training office. After the commander's interview, the supervisor should counsel the trainee, document the counseling in the 623 Alpha journal entry, and place the trainee in a supervisor review training until the trainee retests for the EOC. The supervisor should document all supervised study sessions on the 623 Alpha, and they should review the course exam scorecard, all the missed areas from the exam, and then sign it and give to the unit training manager for their records. Then the supervisor should notify the unit training manager to reschedule the EOC within 90 days of the failure. If the trainee has a second unsatisfactory score on their EOC, we will do all the same interviews that we did from the first fail, but the commander will have 4 options at this point. The first option the commander has is to evaluate the trainee for a possible CDC waiver. The second option the commander has is to withdraw the airman for failing to progress and placing them in a training status code T, and then pursue separation. The third option the commander has is also to withdraw the airmen from training and placing them into a training status code T, and requesting an AFSC withdrawal and recommending retraining or returning to a previously awarded AFSC. The fourth option the commander will have will also be to withdraw the airmen from training for failure to progress, placing them in a training status code T, and then reevaluating them at 90 days, and then pursuing either option 1, 2, or 3 at that point. And finally, I wanted to give you a couple study tips to help you succeed on your CDC EOC preparation. The first thing you should do is to plan your study time. Make sure you set aside enough time to study off duty. While you might have some time on duty to study, it is very important to make sure you're studying off duty as well. So set aside that time. Make sure you know exactly how long you're going to study, what material you're going to study during that session, and the location of where you're going to study. When you set aside a location, make sure there's no distractions around you like a TV or people talking. So make sure it's a calm environment that is going to be productive for studying. Also, before you start your studying session, ensure you have all the materials you need to study, such as pencils, pens, highlighters, anything that you need to have a successful study session. It is important to have good study habits and good study techniques while you are studying for your CDC EOC. Some of those techniques include studying the harder parts first so that you have the mental capacity to learn those pieces of material that you might be struggling with. With that being said, if you do not understand a piece of material in your CDCs, please contact your trainer or supervisor to have them help you understand the material better. Another great technique to use while you're studying for your CDC EOC is to go through your CDCs, and whenever you hit the self-test questions, the answers for those self-test questions you should highlight in a certain color. And then when you get to your UREs, you should highlight in the material the answers to those URE questions. And then when you see both the highlighted sections overlapping, that's probably a pretty important piece to study. Also, make sure you're taking breaks in your study sessions. Just taking a couple minutes to go for a walk outside might help your mind be fresh when you come back, and it'll help you absorb more information during your study session. Also, I recommend whenever you're done with the study session, reward yourself. Whatever that means to you, just give yourself a little reward for completing a full study session. I hope some of these CDC EOC preparation tips will help you study in the future and will help you to pass your CDC EOC when it comes that time. So just remember, CDCs are a huge part of your career in advancing into your next skill level. So please just take the time and take the responsibility of studying them and really internalizing the information so that you can pass your CDC EOC and receive your next skill level. So thank you for your time and have a great day.